Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is kind of a video request. A couple of people have asked me to do this video, and I only ever do video requests if it's something that I have personally dealt with, because I'd never want to just do a video on, I don't know, fears of pancreatic cancer if I've never feared it. Like, I wouldn't want to be false in that way. But a couple of people have asked me to talk about brain tumours. You know, it's something that a lot of us with health anxiety worry about. And I just want to give you a couple of reasons why it's more than likely, almost definitely, that you don't have a brain tumour. And again, obviously, always see a doctor. Don't just, watch my videos and take it as that I'm some scientist or neurologist, because I'm not. I'm just basing this off what I've researched myself. So reason number one is that headaches are your only symptom. So from what I've read with brain tumours, I think a lot of people get headaches and they associate them with a brain tumour. And it's like the one symptom, isn't it? You think headaches, you think brain tumour if you've got health anxiety. When in actuality, seizures are actually a more common symptom of a brain tumour than headaches. So, and many people who have genuine brain tumours will just randomly start having seizures, and they'll have like severe problems with their vision. They'll have kind of like morning nausea or sickness. They'll get headaches as well, headaches that are so bad that it kind of wakes them up from their sleep. So it's not just kind of headaches on their own. And I know a lot of people will say, oh yeah, but I've got headaches and dizziness and I've got floaters. And this is the thing with health anxiety, because we may have headaches, and then of course then we're anxious, we start to get dizzy, and then we notice that we've got floaters in our eyes that have probably been there for years, and it's kind of that battle between, is this anxiety or is this something that actually requires me to panic and for me to go and get checked? And that's a difficult question, and that's where you need to kind of go to your doctor and trust your doctor's judgment on that. But a lot of people will say to me like, oh, they've had a headache for 4 or 5 months and no other kind of, they haven't been having seizures or they haven't lost their vision. And I think that is a really good and reassuring sign, because we know that stress and anxiety causes headaches. It's a very common anxiety symptom, and I think that headaches alone, in the absence of more worrying symptoms, I think you can be rest assured that it's almost definitely your anxiety causing it. I know there's other things as well: dehydration, lack of sleep, TMJ, which can all be caused by anxiety, that can cause headaches. So I think that is an important point to remember. Number two is that you have health anxiety. So if you have had health anxiety prior to thinking you have a brain tumour, it's more than likely that this is just another flare-up of something else that you have convinced yourself of. I have convinced myself of so many things over the years, like it's ridiculous. And if you're that way inclined and you worry about all these things, eventually you're going to come into the brain tumour trap. It's kind of inevitable, because chronic kind of stress and anxiety is going to cause the symptoms of a brain tumour, the headaches, the dizziness and all of that. And rather than being kind of rational and logical about it, we have health anxiety, so we literally think, right, it's brain tumour and I need an MRI and I need this now. So I think you need to kind of, I know it's difficult because a lot of people will think, yeah, but what if this time I'm right? What if this time is the time where I really do have something? And you can do that all day long. We could do that every single time. Every single time I've thought I've had something, I've convinced myself, no, this time is real. This time is real. So I think sometimes you've got to just think, right, okay, well, this has been going on for 4 years now that I've had health anxiety. I have been proven wrong every single time. And, every time I've been convinced, but there's never actually been anything wrong. So I think you have to factor in that you have health anxiety, and that is a very important factor in why you're getting these symptoms. So I definitely think that a lot of us, we don't take that into consideration. We just kind of push that aside and think, no, we've got a brain tumour. Number three is just the realization that they're really rare. Brain tumours aren't common. And especially in certain age groups, it depends kind of what age bracket you're in, but they're not a common diagnosis. One doctor said to me before, which really stuck with me: common things are common, uncommon things are uncommon. And there's so many things that can cause symptoms like headaches and dizziness, and it could be a vitamin deficiency. So I think what we need to kind of do in this situation where we think, oh my gosh, there's a brain tumour, is just to realise that there are so many more things out there that are way more likely to be causing our symptoms. And I know that's easier said than done because we have health anxiety, so we do jump to the worst case scenario. It's kind of the nature of health anxiety. It's why we have these problems. But I think it's just important to remember that there are a whole host of other conditions, a lot of them that may not even be listed on Google when you type in headaches, that can cause these kind of symptoms that are, nowhere near as worrying as a brain tumour. So that's something that we have to consider. And I know it's difficult because we naturally jump to the worst case scenario, we catastrophize everything, and we're full of fear, so we only look at the worst case scenario because that's the kind of scenario that makes us panic. So of course we're going to give that one our the most attention. Number 4 is that you had your eyes tested and they looked at your optic nerve and it was fine. That is a really great sign because there are quite a few brain tumours that will cause swelling of the optic nerve. And if you go to an optician's, they can see, if they do that test, they can see the health of your optic nerve, and they can tell a lot by an eye test. So I think that's a really great test to have. And if that comes back fine, I think that's very reassuring. I wouldn't want to be the person to say, oh, if you've had your eyes tested and it was fine, then you 100,000% don't have a brain tumour, because I would be lying by saying that, because there are some types that don't cause obvious optic nerve swelling, but you've got to think that if you have that done, that is still very reassuring, because a lot of brain tumours will show some symptoms in the eyes. So that's another really, really great sign. Another reason is that you went to A&E and you went to your doctors and you had a full neurological exam and it was normal. So a full neurological exam, they look in your eyes, they check all your reflexes, they get you to walk and do all of these things. And I think a lot of people just think that that's like a useless kind of thing, but it's a really great, a full neurological exam is really great because it shows if any areas of the brain are not working, so if there's a big old tumour pressing on something that affects your balance, for example, and you have a neurological exam and they tell you to walk up and down the room or whatever, they're doing that for a reason, because they can see if something is off, which part of the brain is affected, and then that can kind of signify them if there's any kind of problem going on. So that neurological exam I used to just dismiss and just think, oh, that's not gonna do anything. But it is. They don't just do it because it's something they just do, and they do it for a reason. And it can be really beneficial in seeing how well the brain is working. So I think that's another reason that we should take comfort in that. Another reason is that our symptoms come and go. Look, I'm not a brain tumour expert, so I don't know kind of the pattern on symptoms now would happen, but I imagine that people with a brain tumour, especially one that is growing, the symptoms aren't going to go away for a week and then come back, especially if you're having like debilitating headaches. Somebody with a brain tumour having debilitating headaches, I don't imagine they'd go a week without having them. I imagine that it would get progressively worse, that it would be constant, to the point that leads people to go to the doctors, and then that's why they kind of do these tests. And I think somebody who's going to their doctor and says, I'm having these headaches, they're waking me up 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm in agony, it's getting worse, that's kind of where a doctor will be like, right, okay, let's get an MRI like immediately. But if you go to your doctor and you say, oh, I'm getting headaches on and off, I had it last week, it's gone now, but I can feel it coming back, that's kind of where doctors are a bit like, okay, it's probably more like a tension headache. headaches that are related to stress and anxiety, rather than, a big old brain tumour that's causing severe inflammation in the brain. I think, there's loads more I could go on. There's so many more reasons why it's so much more likely that what you're dealing with is just another part of your health anxiety. And I think that, if you do have any worrying symptoms, go and see your doctor. But, I think we dismiss our GPs. A lot of us don't give them much credit. We just think they're rubbish. But I think they are, they're not experts, are they, GPs? They know a lot of information about different things. But, they're also fully qualified and they're not stupid. So, if you go in there and you say, I had a seizure yesterday and I've got these banging headaches, I would hope, that all doctors would be alarmed by that. But, when you go in there and you tell them your symptoms and, they're not worried, it's not because it's not that they're not taking you seriously. It's just that to them, that's not signifying a brain tumour, it's signifying anxiety or something else. And so they're not in a kind of rush, to go and send you for an MRI or anything. So I understand it, guys. I thought I had a headache for 4 months. It wasn't every day, but it was definitely probably about 4 or 5 times a week. It was most of the week. It was awful. All at the front of my head. I had tingling, numbness, and again, these are other symptoms of anxiety. And yeah, I had floaters in my eyes, I had all the symptoms. But I think it's important to remember that anxiety can cause all of these symptoms too. And anxiety is by far much more common than a brain tumour. So I think you've got to hold on to that. It's very difficult to get out of the brain tumour trap once you're in it. But I think every day that goes by that, you haven't had a seizure or nothing has seriously changed is a day where you can think, right, okay, this is more likely now going to be anxiety than something really sinister. And, you're not just going to get out of it like that, guys. It took me a long time. It took me about 4 or 5 months for me to be like, right, okay, I think now this is anxiety. Nothing has changed. My symptoms started to decrease once I started doing like relaxation techniques and stuff. So then once my symptoms started to go away a little bit, I was like, right, okay, it's not a brain tumour. This brain tumour that I thought that I had is definitely not going to just stop giving me symptoms, because I'm doing some breathing exercises. So that was very reassuring to me. So so share your experiences with this, guys, down below. A lot of people worry about this, and I always love the comment section to be a place where people can go and read other people's stories. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any video requests, please pop them below as well. Like I said, I would never do a video on something that I've never experienced, because I just feel like it's false. But if it is something that I've experienced and I just haven't thought of the idea to do the video, I will definitely do it. And I will see you guys very soon on my next video. And stay safe during this crazy pandemic that we find ourselves in. Give yourself a lot of self-love and self-care, because times are tough. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.